So hello everybody. So today we will take up a problem on open circuit test and short circuit test first, and then we will discuss about voltage regulation of a transformer and its importance, and then at the end we will take up one comprehensive problems to apply these concepts which we have discussed in a practical transformers scenario. Okay, so this is the example which is from the Chapman's book. So it says that the equivalent circuit impedance of a 220 kVA 800 by 240 volt 60 Hz transformer are to be determined. So the open circuit test was performed on the secondary side of the transformer. So it says that open circuit test was performed at the secondary side of the transformer. So if nothing has been mentioned that which side is the primary and which side is the secondary, then the one which is mentioned in the rating of the voltage, so this side 8000 side we will say that it's the primary side, and 240 volt side we will say the secondary side. Okay, but generally one convention is to say secondary side or the primary side. Other convention is to say high voltage side and the low voltage side, because we can energize the transformer from either of these side. Same transformer can work as a step up transformer, and or it can work as a step down transformer. Okay, so in this problem it says that the open circuit test was performed on secondary side. That means it has been performed at 240 volt side. Okay, and the short circuit tests were performed on the primary side of the transformer, and short circuit test was performed on the primary side of the transformer. So that means it was performed at 8000 volt side. Okay, so and the following data were taken. Okay, so this is WOC here, and then we need to draw the equivalent circuit diagram of the transformer towards LV side, and then equivalent circuit diagram of the transformer towards high voltage side. Okay, so here you can see that open circuit test was performed at LV side. So this secondary side is LV side, right? And short circuit test, say it is saying it on the primary side, so it is basically at high voltage side. Just check what would be the rated current. So I1 rated, it would be 20 kVA by 8000, so it would be around 2.5 ampere, and I2 rated by 240, it would be around 83.3 ampere. Okay, so here you can see that the short circuit test was performed at when ISC was reading 2.5 ampere. Okay, so that means this PSC is the full load copper loss. So obviously in this problem we don't need to know the full load copper losses, but let's say in some problem I'm just highlighting it here that this PSC would be, we can say it would be full load copper loss as this test has been performed at rated current of that particular side. Okay, so from the open circuit test data we can actually find the shunt branch parameters. So if you remember the circuit diagram for it, so generally we have an ammeter here, and then a wattmeter, and then a voltmeter here. So in the open circuit test, this will read WOC here, and this will read IOC, and this voltmeter will read VOC. So we have said that open circuit test, in the open circuit test we would be having only the shunt branch parameters. So this is the shunt branch parameters of the transformer, and other the series branch parameters we can neglect it. So this is your RC and this is your XM here. So as we know that this will have two component here. One is IC and another current is IM here. And we have we know that this, if you draw the phasor diagram of it, if this is the flux phi m, so Im is in this direction, Im in the direction of the flux, and if this is your V1 or the E1 voltage, so IC is along the direction of the applied voltage. Okay, so this is IC here, and then this would be the IOC. Okay, because during the no load test or open circuit test, all those current which is read by the ammeter is actually because of these two shunt branch parameters of the transformer. So we can actually compute this phi naught. So WOC will actually read VOC, right? See the potential coil here, the potential coil is experiencing this voltage VOC, and the current IOC, current coil is reading through the current coil, it is the IOC, and the power factor angle between VOC and the angle between cos of angle between these two quantities. That was the concept of wattmeter we have discussed before, right? So the angle between VOC and IOC is phi naught here. So cos of phi naught here. So we can compute cos phi naught, which would be given by WOC upon VOC and IOC. So WOC is given as 400 and IOC is VOC is 240 volt into IOC is 7.133. So this would be equal to 0.23. So once I know cos phi naught, I can actually find sin phi naught. So sin phi naught is 0.97. And if you compute phi naught, so this phi naught will come out to be 76.7 degree. I'm just showing that. So this IOC uh, is having the more component of Im than IC, because this angle is coming around 76.7 degree here. Okay, so if you see this, if you can now you can compute IC. So IC would be IOC cos phi naught. IOC is 7.133 into 0.23, and this value is 1.66 ampere, and Im would be IOC into sin phi naught, right? So this is phi naught here, so Im would be IOC sin phi naught, and this would be equal to 7.133 into 0.973, which would be equal to 6.93 ampere. So you can see that in the no load current has more component of magnetizing current. Okay, so magnetizing current is higher as compared to the current which is accountable for the core losses. Okay, so once I know IC and Im, I can actually compute RC and XM, because RC will experience the voltage across it. RC, and because the RC and XM will experience the same voltage across it, which is VOC here. So RC can be given as, so from this you can see that RC would be given by VOC upon IC. Okay, so VOC is 240 volt upon IC is 1.66 ohms here. So this would be equal to 144.5 ohms. And obviously this RC which we have calculated, it is for the, since this test has been performed at LV side, so just for our remembrance I am marking it LV. Okay, this RC is for the LV side, and XM for the LV side would be VOC upon IM 240 upon 6.933. ohms. So this is actually equal to 34.63 ohms. Okay, so you can see that magnetizing reactance is lower as compared to the core losses resistance RC. Okay, so from this data we got it from open circuit test, OC test. Now from short circuit test data, we can actually compute the, we'll take up these same circuit arrangement would be the same, instrumentation would be there. So for short circuit test, we know that we can this time, since this test has been performed at rated current of that particular side at 2.5 ampere for the high voltage side here, right? So the no load branch or the shunt branch parameters, we can neglect it, and it would be only R effective. Obviously this test has been performed at high voltage side, so I will write HV here, and JXL effective, and this would be for the high voltage side, and the secondary has been shorted, so this terminal has been shorted. So this ammeter is reading ISC, this voltmeter is reading WSC or PSC. As per the data here, it is PSC, and this is VSC here. So now we can find the R effective and X effective, right? ISC whole square into R effective, and this would be for high voltage side. So this would be equal to PSC, right? The wattmeter will read the power consumed in this circuit because of the resistive component, okay, the real power, right? So PSC we can compute. So from here we can compute R effective for the high voltage side and PSC over ISC whole square. So this is actually equal to VSC is 489 volt, ISC is 2.5 ampere, and PSC is 240 watt. So you can compute here, PSC would be 240 over ISC 2.5 whole square, and this R effective HV would be equal to 38.4 ohms, and Z effective for the high voltage side would be given by the impedance which is observed here would be R effective and X effective, right? Combined of this. So Z effective can be given by VSC over ISC. So this would be equal to 195.6 ohms. So once I know Z effective and R effective, I can actually compute XL effective for the high voltage side, which would be given by square root over Z effective whole square minus R effective whole square. And if you compute it, we'll find that this value is coming around 191.8 ohms. So here also you can see that the series impedance, the major contribution is because of the leakage reactance. Okay, so if you see the impedance here, so total impedance was 195.6, and the impedance offered by this series leakage reactance is around 191.8, right? So the leakage reactance is the major contributor, and the winding resistance is does not contribute so much. So even in some of the approximate circuits in big power system, what we do is we generally will consider only the leakage reactance of the transformer. In some of the problems, like if the network is very complicated and we want to approximate it, then we generally, the engineers, what they will do is they will consider only the leakage reactance of the transformer, and they will neglect even the winding resistance there. Okay, so we have found the uh, shunt branch parameters and series branch parameters, but now we have to draw the equivalent circuit diagram towards low voltage side. Okay, so we have to draw the equivalent circuit diagram towards the low voltage side. So then these these series branch parameters which we have computed is for the high voltage side, so we have to transfer it towards the low voltage side. Okay, so if I am just drawing the transformers, because how to decide the turn ratio, so sometimes it's confusing, right? So LV side and this is high voltage side. Okay, so the shunt branch parameters has been calculated for the low voltage side, RC and XM, and series branch parameters has been calculated for the high voltage side. So we can transfer these series branch parameters towards the low voltage side. So we need to know the turn ratio. So LV side voltage is 240 volt and high voltage side voltage is 8000 volts. So for this condition I can define A as 240 by 8000. Then we can draw the series branch parameters, equivalent circuit diagram referred to LV side. So the R effective here and Z effective here, we'll refer it this side. So this would be A square times R effective and A square times XL effective. Okay, and then you have the shunt branch parameter RC here and XL, and this is your applied voltage. So this is your the primary voltage, which is would be 240 volt here, right? This is 240 volt side. Okay, so generally we keep the shunt branch parameters towards the towards the induced voltage side, applied voltage, then the drop in the winding, and then the induced voltage will come there, right? So we keep the shunt branch parameters towards the induced voltage side. So R effective dash or R effective at the LV side would be A square R effective for high voltage side, and this would be equal to, so this is around 0.03456, and X effective LV side would be A square X effective high V, A square X effective high voltage, and this if you compute, so this is 0.17262 ohms here, ohms here. So you can see that if I am referring the high voltage side impedance towards the low voltage side impedance, so the values will get reduced here. Okay, and shunt branch parameters will remain as it is, because it is there at the, because the open circuit test was performed at low voltage side. Okay, and if you want to draw the equivalent circuit diagram for the high voltage side, then you have to refer the shunt branch parameters towards the high voltage side, and then at that time you have to divide it by A square. Okay, so this you can do it on your own. So now we will discuss about the voltage regulation in a transformer.